Welcome to the Viva Lewes show. Hygge. What is Hygge? Alex explains.
Everybody's talking about Hygge, the Danish concept of making yourself comfortable and cosy. Hygge, I was told, is all about coziness, about woolen socks, mulled wine and candles. So what could be more Hygge than Christmas? And what could be more Christmas than Hygge? In the December issue of Viva Lewes, you can read an interview I did with Louisa Thompson-Britz. She wrote The Book of Hygge for Ebury Press, an imprint of Random House. The book is illustrated with lovely photographs by Lewes-based photographer Susan Bell. So why this mania about Hygge? What's it all about? Louisa reckons it's coming off the back of our love of all things Scandinavian. We've done the slick designer furniture, we've done the Scandi Noir box sets. Now it's the turn of the Danish art of getting cosy and comfortable. Every year, the Oxford and Collins dictionaries choose their words of the year, and Hygge has made the top 10 in both lists, along with Brexit and Trumpism. Perhaps, theorises Louisa, there's good reason. Perhaps, in these uncertain times, we need a bit of Hygge in our lives. Hygge is an age-old concept, originating in Norway. In olden times, the spirit of Hygge warded off evil spirits. In a way, says Louisa, it still does. The latest book to come out on the subject is called Say Ja to Hygge, How to Find Your Special Cosy Place. It is, needless to say, a parody. This is how they suggest you pronounce the word. Hygge. So let's end on a bright note. The nights have drawn in, it's getting cold outside. It's time to make the most of the simple pleasures. Huddling round the fire with good friends, good conversation, and maybe a glass or two of wine. Have a very hyggelig December. Make mine a mulled.
Alex in discussion with Brigitte Ladenois, the curator of the recent exhibition Stories Seen Through a Glass Plate.
I'm here in the town hall with Brigitte Ladenois. Welcome, Brigitte. Brigitte has just taken down, on the day that we're filming this, the fantastic exhibition that you probably saw all over Lewes in November, which was a load of light boxes about the home front during the World War I of Reeves' pictures. Brigitte, hello. We featured 3 of the pictures in 3 different months in Viva Lewes, and in the December issue, knowing that the exhibition would have finished, we featured this picture, which you've probably seen in the tourist information throughout November.
We found this picture about a month before the exhibition started, so we've keyed in between 1914 and 1918, and we found 7,000 pictures, and then Tom started pulling relevant glass plates. And this picture, they didn't know they had, and nobody knew that it existed. And suddenly our eye fell on something in the back of this picture. And actually we know now for sure that the kiss by Rodin is under that wrap.
A certain rumour has spread around town why the statue might have been covered, and we want to just discuss that.
Well, I've always been told that Miss Fowler Tutt, who was a schoolmistress, was the person who had specifically asked for that statue to be sent back to its owner. We have, however, received very good information by Francis Stanlake, who has extensively researched the story of the kiss in Lewes, and who, I believe, rightly points out that it was never Miss Fowler Tutt who asked for it to go back.
Fowler Tutt, who went on to become a real Lewes great, I think it's fair to be said. She was a suffragette, she was the second ever town councillor, female town councillor in the town. She was responsible, or a big part responsible, for the building of the Neville estate. She was a champion of the poor. She had a great career, and it's a great pity that she is misremembered for this one thing. And this article does a lot to redress the balance, and as it says on the tin, it rehabilitates Kate Fowler Tutt. So if you're interested in the article, do get the magazine.
And if you want to know more about the Reeves Archive, it's reevesarchive.co.uk.
Alex talks to the All Things Must Pass Orchestra before their concert at the All Saints on the 6th of December.
Hi, I'm Alex Leith and I'm here to introduce the All Things Must Pass Orchestra. They are not a tribute band, but they do play the music of George Harrison, and they'll be playing at the All Saints Centre on December the 6th.
We're playing songs that George wrote within the Beatles and also during his solo career after the Beatles.
My affinity for George in particular goes back to when I was 13 and started my personal musical career with learning how to play the guitar, and I was always fascinated by George's guitar playing.
I've watched the DVD Concert for George and I thought, wow, all these great musicians playing these great songs, wouldn't it be nice to be able to perform this material in that way?
The former trombone player in the band approached me and asked me to, so to speak, swap roles with him. I was enthusiastic about the whole thing. I've been enjoying it very much and it's meaningful to me.
I think we try to keep a balance, to do the songs that are well known, and then there are some fans who know every little detail and every little recording that George has ever made, and they really appreciate to hear the more obscure songs being played live as well. We've got some very loyal fans who travel, quite some distance to see our shows.
Here Comes the Sun, Isn't It a Pity?
My Sweet Lord.
Oh yes, My Sweet Lord. The idea is to distill the intimate aspect of his music. The All Saints Centre is the perfect venue for us to do this. Tickets are only available through the band's website, allthingsmustpass.co.uk.
It feels like a bunch of good friends making music.
Alex looks back to Viva Lewes 10 years ago.
So, what was happening in Lewes 10 years ago? We'd just brought out issue 3 of the magazine. It had a turkey on the front cover for Christmas. We commissioned Amy Williams, who normally painted cows, to paint it. The singer John Otway, famous for his 1977 hit Really Free and the track Beware of the Flowers, because I'm sure they're going to get you, yeah, played in the Anchor in Barkham Mills. The promoter Mike Lance, who'd been doing gigs in the Hanbury Ballroom in Brighton, had lost that venue and was looking for an alternative. The Barkham venue lasted a few concerts and was great while it lasted, but it didn't last that long. Lewes FC were doing pretty well. They were pushing for promotion in the Conference South under the managership of Steve King. But the year was most interesting for the fact that they got as far as they ever had done in the whole history of the club, and that was over 100 years, in the FA Cup. They managed to make it to the first round for the second time and got drawn at home to Darlington. Unfortunately, in front of a crowd of 1,500 people, and that included me, Lewes lost 4-1. Darlington returned to the North East with smiles on their faces. And finally, there was a big dispute between Greene King and the customers of the Lewes Arms. Greene King decided to take Harvey's Best off as guest ale in the Lewes Arms. The locals were up in arms about it, and they went on strike and picketed the pub. There were a number of national level journalists among the clientele of the Lewes Arms who spread the story far and wide. Not only did it go locally, and we covered it of course in this issue, but nationally in The Guardian and other papers, and even internationally as far afield as Bermuda and Australia. Greene King's name was mud, and after 100 days of bitter dispute they capitulated with a bloody nose. Harvey's Best went back on tap, and it's still there today.